Hello, and welcome to The Making in Madrid, a show about life in Madrid, presented by me, Felicity Hughes. I'm a tour guide and writer based in the city, and you may have seen my work in Lonely Planet or the Financial Times. This show is relatively new, so if you're enjoying it, do please drop me a like, a comment. It's really good to know that people out there are watching. So like, subscribe, visit my website, The Making in Madrid. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hello there. This is one of my little videos about a secret spot in Madrid, and I've come all the way from bustling Plaza España to here, where there's hardly anyone around, and this is actually a nice little garden just below the palace, below the Jardines de Sabatini, that not a lot of people know about. Now I'm going to show you the route down here, but I'll just tell you a little bit about the name first. So the name is Campo del Moro, and that means Field of the Moor. And the Moor in question is Ali bin Yusuf, an Almoravid commander who tried to storm Madrid to retake the city after Alfonso VI had taken it. The Christian forces had taken it in 1083, and he did a counterattack in 1109. I'll go into that a little bit more later, but I should say that Moor is a deeply problematic term because it's a cover-all term that means either an Arab or someone from North Africa. But in any case, do come out and visit this little place, one of the places featured in my book, Quiet Madrid, because as you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I've got the palace right behind me. So I'll just turn the camera around so you can see. So first off, let's go into how you actually get here. So there are a couple of entrances at the top, but up until recently, they used to be closed, and the only way to access this garden was from below by the river. But now there are these two new entrances, and the one I took for this little trip was just by Plaza de España. So you see, you go down the bottom of Plaza de España, and then you go down these steep stairs, and it really doesn't look like you're going anywhere special. And then eventually you come upon the gates of this really gorgeous park. So despite being located in the heart of Madrid, Campo de Moro Gardens remain relatively undiscovered by tourists. And I think that has a lot to do with the topography, which is also one of the reasons why Ali bin Yusuf had such a terrible time of it and wasn't actually able to re-invade Madrid. He did take, I think, Talavera de la Reina. He retook that. But it was this very, very steep wall that was a fortress built by Muhammad I in the latter half of the 9th century. So it was just really, really hard to break through. And this is where the other entrance to this garden you'll find right next to the ancient Muslim wall of Madrid. And there's another entrance that not a lot of people know about from the top. So if you visit the Galería de Colecciones Reales, you go all the way down from the top by the cathedral, which is where the old fortress of Madrid was. The palace and the cathedral was built on the old fortress, which was the Alcázar. You go down through the building, which is essentially built on a cliff, and you come out in these beautiful gardens. So those are 3 ways to get from the top and 1 way from the bottom, which is actually the way that I took today by going along the river. If you know me at all, you know I love my bike. So I cycled out here and then I climbed all the way up the top for you all to show you how to get down from Plaza de España, because this is probably the way most people will get here, because it's close to the metro station. And who really wants to trudge all the way uphill? I did it for you, dear listeners. Anyway, so these gardens used to be attached to the palace and were part of the gardens that the royal family enjoyed. They weren't really created as you see them today in this beautiful landscaped sweep that goes all the way up until the 19th century, when Queen Isabel II, a deeply problematic queen, by the way, who was deposed, she wanted the gardens done by drawing inspiration from British stately homes with this meticulously manicured green space and lovely big fountain up in the middle. For some reason, which I don't quite understand, the day I visited today, I'm recording this on the very same day, all the fountains were switched off. So I don't know why, but they still look quite majestic. But even if you visit today, you get an idea of just the struggle that Ali Ben Youssef would have had to try and break his way into Madrid, because now there's a brick wall that runs along the bottom of the palace, and this is where the original fortified walls of Madrid were. So the palace is standing atop what's essentially a cliff, and this was the old Alcazar of Madrid. And this is a strategic position that allowed Madrid to withstand many sieges back in medieval times. It also gives you a marvelous clear view. So if you stand at the top of the gardens looking down on them from the palace, you get a clear view out across the river to the Casa de Campo. But of course there's the river there in between, and if you go all the way down to the bottom of the gardens where the cafe is, you'll see a part that's sort of closed off to the public at the moment, but it's hotly anticipated to open soon. And this is a tunnel that was built in the 18th century by Joseph Bonaparte. And Joseph was King of Spain. He was installed by his brother, Napoleon Bonaparte, of course, and he was rather nervous in his palace because he was dealing with a very rebellious country. The War of Independence was raging, and so he had a little escape route built for himself, and that would have taken him out to the Casa de Campo. As well as strolling along the lovely little paths that you see all around you, the gardens, as they're a royal place, are home to a colony of peacocks. And when I visited, I got really lucky. In fact, I got a little bit scared because you can see in this video, the peacock looks like it's going for me. And then it displays its wonderful feathers. But what can be more magical than listening to a peacock in beautiful gardens like this? And the most brilliant thing about this place is it's just recently got a cafe. So the cafe was opened only a few weeks ago. And as you can see, it's already quite busy, the busiest part of the gardens, which in general were fairly quiet. But I saw a lot of people enjoying this new space, and I think it's really nice. It must be a fantastic place to go and have a cup of coffee or a meal. I personally haven't tried it out yet, but I'm looking forward to trying that, and I'll tell you in another episode about how that went. So there are two reasons why I wanted to cover this little place. The first one is that I'm trying to promote my book, Quiet Madrid, A Guide to the City's Third Spaces and Hidden Places. Now, it's my new ebook, and I wrote this because I genuinely do think it's full of wonderful places to escape the mayhem of Madrid. Sometimes it just feels a little bit too much, especially as it's kind of well known for being a rather noisy capital. But there are these little pockets that you can come and explore. And the other reason was, two promotional things to promote my new tour of medieval Madrid that's just been released on VoiceMap. And in that tour, I was unable to fit the Casa de Campo into the route. But I think it's something that I wanted to talk about because I love discussing Madrid's medieval origins, especially its time, as a Muslim fortress town, and the conquest and the society of the time. So if you want to know more about that, you can buy my new VoiceMap tour. Now, I'm sorry for plugging all these things so much, but you may know or you may not know that the Making of Madrid website does not have any advertising on it whatsoever, and I'm trying to keep it ad-free. But of course, this is a lot of work. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please do think about either buying a copy of Quiet Madrid or buying my medieval tour, or even perhaps hiring me as a tour guide. That's if I'm around, because I'll just be coming back to Madrid when this episode goes out. So yeah, do think about hiring me as a tour guide, as it will be September, the temperatures will be cooling, and I'll be back from Paris and ready to show people around the city. But that's about it from me for today. So thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Bye-bye.